The wedding toast. I found out the truth on a Tuesday, standing in my own kitchen with a glass of wine going warm in my hand, listening to a voicemail I was never supposed to hear. And it is strange, the things you remember about the moment your whole life quietly rearranges itself. The hum of the refrigerator, the crooked calendar on the wall, the particular way my stomach dropped when I recognized the second voice. For 11 years, it had been the three of us. Me, Priya, and Dev, inseparable since college, the kind of friendship people call rare, the kind you build a life around without quite noticing you've done it. And when Priya and Dev started dating in our late 20s, I was the one who stood between them at the altar 3 years later, the one who gave the toast, the one who cried real tears because I believed, completely and without reservation, that I was watching two people I loved find their happiness, and that I was lucky enough to be part of it. So when Priya called me 8 months ago, her voice breaking, to tell me that the business Dev and I had built together, the one I'd poured my savings and my nights and my 20s into, was failing faster than either of us could fix, I believed her, and when she suggested I sign over my shares temporarily, just until we stabilized things, just until the investors calmed down, I signed, because that is what you do for family. And that is what she had always been to me. It took months for the cracks to show. Small things, at first, Dev avoiding my calls, Priya's explanations growing thinner and more elaborate at the same time, a lawyer's letter that used language no friend would ever use with another. I told myself I was imagining it, that grief and stress were making me paranoid, that these were the two people who had stood beside me through my father's death and my worst years and my quiet unraveling after the divorce, and surely, they would not do to me what some cold, distant part of my mind was beginning to suspect. Then came the voicemail, meant for Dev's business partner and not for me, left by mistake on an old shared line none of us had used in years, and in it I heard Priya's voice, calm and businesslike in a way I had never once heard her use with me, laying out exactly how they'd structured the buyout, how my signature on those transfer papers had been the final piece they needed, how sentimental I'd always been, how easy that had made things. I did not confront them right away. I have never been a person who acts from anger, not really, not the kind of anger that burns hot and fast and is gone by morning. Mine is the slow kind, the kind that sits and studies and waits. And so instead of calling Priya screaming, I called a lawyer of my own, and I spent 3 weeks quietly gathering every email, every text, every backdated document I could find, because if they had built their betrayal on paperwork, I intended to unbuild it the same way. What I found was worse than I expected, and also, in its own way, a gift, proof that the failing business had never failed at all, that Dev had been siphoning contracts to a shell company for over a year, that Priya had known for months before she ever called me crying, that the wedding at which I had toasted their love had happened 4 months after they'd already begun planning how to take what was mine. I printed it all. I made copies. And then I did the one thing neither of them ever saw coming. I invited them both to dinner. They came, of course, because refusing would have looked strange, and because some small, arrogant part of them still believed I hadn't noticed anything at all. I let them eat. I let them talk about nothing, about the weather, about a vacation they were planning, and only when the plates were cleared did I set the folder on the table between us, open to the page with Dev's shell company on it, and watch the color leave both of their faces at exactly the same moment, which told me, more than anything else could have, how long they had been in this together. I did not yell. I told them, very quietly, that the folder was one of 4 copies, that the others were already with my lawyer, the SEC, and a journalist who'd been wanting a story like this for years, and that they had exactly one choice to make before I left that apartment: sign my shares back, fully and irrevocably, or watch everything unravel in public, in a way that would follow them for the rest of their careers. Priya cried. Dev tried to negotiate. I let the silence answer for me. They signed. It took another 4 months of lawyers and paperwork to make it permanent, but they signed that night, in my kitchen, at the same table where I'd once hosted their engagement party, and when they left, either of them said goodbye, and I did not walk them to the door. I think about them sometimes, not with hatred exactly, but with a kind of clear-eyed distance I could not have imagined a year ago, and what I have learned, the thing I would tell anyone who asked, is that the people who hurt you the worst are rarely strangers. They are the ones who already know exactly where to aim.